Guys, it's me again. Basically tonight I've decided to sit down with this same sub again. It's taken me about a month to kind of figure out how to get this sub not too bassy and not to a point where there's no bass, but to a point where there's enough bass that it sounds good, if that makes sense. To a point where people are going to be like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. Now all I've done is that there, right, is a port that I've made myself. As you can see, yeah, it's not done, I haven't done too bad a job on that port. It's nice and round, as it should be. And that there is a nice piece of solid cardboard. I mean solid, you can hardly, well, it doesn't rattle, let's just say that. It's perfect, it's strong enough, it is about this thick, the cardboard. So, you know, that's thick enough for what I need to use it for. But yeah, as you can see, there's a fucking huge magnet in there, I don't know if you can see that. And the transformer is just down there. And, you know, the other port is actually up there. Inside the, and you see that little port there. Well, it's there. Oh, it's there. So that's basically all I've done. And I was thinking of putting just down the bottom of here bass, but I still need to tweak it, so it's not quite there yet. So, but it's sounding pretty good at the moment. I mean, I tested it just now. I didn't want to obviously turn it up too loud because it is really late now, so I thought I'd just give it a quick test to see what it sounds like, and to be honest, it doesn't sound too bad. With a subwoofer like this, that is a decent sized port. You don't want anything bigger, if anything the size of that grill, because there'll be no bass, it'll just be a huge hole pretty much. Now, there is more cardboard than there is port there, so, you know, what would you know, it just sounds really decent. And I've tried not to make it too big of a port. I've tried to make it about the size of that magnet, enough to kind of create bass. And even that subwoofer is made by Logitech as well, so decent subwoofer there. And it is a vented pole piece, guys. That big hole there is a big vent going all the way into the dust cap. So this thing can cool down when it needs to. And obviously having a port like that, it can suck air directly to the sub and push it back out, so there's no issues there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now, guys. Other than the fact this is a Logitech, and I've spent months trying to get this thing to sound good. Because it's disappointing, because it is a Logitech, and Logitech stuff is pretty good, I have to say. The amplifiers in these are really, really tough amps. Some of you out there might be like, you know, they're not very good, and some of you might be, yeah, they're not too bad. But really, since I've had this, the amplifier, well, you know, I've had this running like 1300 watt sub before, and to be honest, the amps in these are pretty tough. They're almost like sort of amplifiers you'd find in a mini hi-fi system. Only difference is they've using them in subwoofers now. And the reason I say that is because of this. You have front left and front right and rear left and rear right. So this is basically an amplifier that's capable of it is just basically a mini stereo amplifier that's just been bolted into a sub, into a box to build a sub with. And they've turned this stereo amplifier into a subwoofer. But this is generally a stereo amplifier, because a lot of hi-fis will have this kind of adapter that have adapters like that. So yeah, so that's that. And obviously down here is, in this amplifier is slightly, in terms of these, the little speakers, it is technically a stereo amplifier. other than the bass control, which you wouldn't usually find on a stereo amp, and this down here. You wouldn't usually find. It depends on what kind of stereo you've got. It depends on what mini hi-fi stereo you've got. If you've got like one that's computer compatibility, then you'll have something like this on the back of it. If it is just a normal stereo, you'll just have either surround sound front right and front left and so, and you know, you wouldn't usually have this on there if it was just a stereo amp. Because this is a PC sub, it has a bass tone control, all these and that, because then that will go, that big thick one there goes to the center like that, and then obviously you've got, you know, volume, you've got yeah, you can see that there. You've got all of the center control, so you can turn the center one off, and then that you can turn down the rears, and then you've got your volume, power button, and that's actually Matrix. You can actually turn the center one completely off rather than turning it down, if that makes sense. So you can turn it completely off if you want, or switch it on. And the cool thing is about this as well, when you turn off the whole system and unplug it, the headphones, it still sends a signal out to the headphones. So even though the system is completely off, there's no power to it at all, you can still use the headphones. Anyone who can figure that out and let me know, because I thought when you turn off the whole system, it turns the headphone socket off as well, but it doesn't, so that's interesting. So yeah, this is really, all in all, not a bad little system, to be honest. I've had to do a few modifications to it, more than I want to, but I guess if you're like me and you love your audio and you want to have a play and see what you can get out of a speaker or a subwoofer, you know, it's worth a go, isn't it? You know, but that doesn't look too bad, other than the mistake I made down here. But like anyone's going to notice that, you know, and they're not going to be bothered about that. They're just going to, really, if this is in the corner, nobody's going to see it, are they? It's just, the bass is just going to basically be coming out, and they're not going to know where it is. So that I don't think they'll be too fussed about. You know, this down here. But yeah, I think I've slowly getting there with this sub, and it would be a shame to throw it in the bin when you could just play with it and you know. But hey, so yeah, if anyone likes this video, please subscribe. Thank you very much.